About time, Lee. High school football talk. Is that what you've been waiting on, my friend?
Especially with all that's going on. I have been watching reruns and no sports, and like you said earlier on the Facebook, we kind of got together last week. We're like, we got to do something to talk some football. So
Friday main event coming at you. This is our top 10 reveal show, spring top 10. Going to be a bit of a challenge this year, Lee.
think so.
No spring practices to watch, no spring scrimmages. So uh, we may look really dumb or we're going to look really smart. Well, I guess that applies any year, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, like I
But
said, this is a whole new ball of wax we're dealing with here. I don't think anybody's ever been through, so it'll be interesting to say the least.
yeah, I agree with you, partner. And I'm sure there's a lot of coaching staffs, a lot of new coaches this year that they want to get into their program. And a good example, Coach Puckett over at Shelbyville.
Sure,
He's got a new
absolutely.
program, new team, and he can't get out there and get things started. So it's going to be a challenge for them. I think it's going to probably be more of a challenge for guys in that situation than guys like a Derek Hunt or a Gary Rankin,
Sure,
that have their program.
established.
Exactly. So.
Yep.
Lee, let's roll right into it, brother, because we're going to be pressed for time. We're going to try to squeeze a whole lot of information here into a 2-hour time slot. We'll go ahead and let these guys know the format. We've got 20 minutes allotted for each class, Class 1A through Class 6A. Lee and I will reveal our top 10 preseason top 10, and comments welcome. Have at it there in the live chat. Let us know.
We love that stuff.
I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that don't agree with what Lee and I have determined to be the top 10. But we're good with that. We'll stand behind it, at least up until the season starts anyway. We may make a few tweaks here and
That's
there
right.
prior to that. But Lee, let's jump right into it, man. Class 1A. And we're going to get things started off. Lee, each season we kind of have like what we call an honorable mention, 4 teams we had just outside the top 10. And Lee, this year I think in 1A, I think from probably 9th through 25th,
It's wide open.
wide open, swap them out. I mean,
Wide open.
you could put any of the teams in this honorable mention category in the top 25 in the classification, and I don't think anybody could argue a whole lot with it. Fayetteville, we had them right out there. Monterey, Richland, Mount Pleasant, Oliver Springs. These are teams we had listed in the honorable mention category. They may have lost a lot of significant players, but if things go their way, you could see them making a playoff run into the top 1-2 rounds.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially Oliver Springs. That's kind of my dark horse, maybe a little bit early, thinking about it early on because
Right.
they had a pretty good season last year.
So, again, I would probably put about, there's a good 10 teams I could name off here that we had just outside that top 10, but you can make an argument from being in. So, having said that, Lee, we're going with Huntland. Bob Robertson's Huntland Hornets
Yep.
at our number 10 spot. They're off of a third-round loss to Huntington. They did lose Cameron Reed, but Coach Robertson says Colby Stewart, he thinks he'll do a nice job filling in right there.
That's right. He got a senior quarterback coming back.
Peyton
Reed.
Reed, and he's our buddy Kermit's son.
Correct.
So he's got the OC there in the house with him. That's always a good thing. So we like Huntland at number 10. Despite the fact they got their Mr. Football candidate, Cameron Reed, graduated, I think they got enough coming back to be a contender there in Region 5.
I think so.
At number 9, another Region 5 team, we got Cornersville, and we love Gerard Randolph, head coach there at Cornersville. They were young last year, Lee. Got a little bit of seasoning on these kids. I think they're going to be pretty tough.
I do too. And, Coach Randolph, we've spoke about it before, how much community support he's got over there. And, he's got a lot returning off a very young team, and I can see them making a real big push.
Back-to-back years in the title game up there at
Correct.
Cornersville recently, and like you said, Lee, that town travels very well. Really support the Bulldogs. Trenton Posey, big guard, Barrett Powers, J.C. Spray at wide receiver, Bradley Callahan, a running back, also plays the linebacker. Had 904 yards last year, Lee. He's probably going to be the focal point, I think, this year. A lot of talent there on the Cornersville team. I think the development they went through last year is going to pay dividends this year.
That's right.
Moving on up, Lee, at number 8, we got Coalfield, the Yellow Jackets. Where would Keith Henry be the last 5-6 years if he wasn't in Region 2 with Greenback?
Probably sitting in a couple title games.
I agree.
To be honest with you.
Yeah. They're always there, man. I mean, you
They
got to
are.
give 153 wins, total 103 wins in the last 12 years. Coach Henry does a heck of a job over at Coalfield.
Yep, and he's got Seth Lowe coming back at the running back, linebacker spot, and that's big. Like I said, I like him at the 8. I like him at the 8th spot.
At the 8, I like it as well. Lee, 8-4 last year. They did lose to Greenback in the second round, but they got a lot of talent coming back. At number 7, a good friend of yours, Scott Clemens, Gordonsville Tigers. We got them at 7. I think the Tigers are going to make some noise this year.
I do too. I think they'll have a chance in that Region 4 1A to make a big run. They have a really nice quarterback, Matthew Albritton, who's a sophomore. He started a lot of games last year as a freshman. Took some lumps,
Right.
but they came on late in the year, got into the third round against South Pittsburgh, which we know what they had. So I like this team, man. Levi Crosland's a sharp little ball player, so I like them there.
Entered the playoffs at 4-6, Lee, and like you said, made it all the way to quarterfinals. So Coach Clemens doing a good job there at Gordonsville. At number 6, we had Freedom Prep. Now, Freedom Prep, Lee Teat, last year did not lose a game on the field.
That's
I think
correct.
they had 7 forfeits. Finished up the season 3-7. Quincy Briggs is back, along with Tyler Woodard, another really solid player, Bryson Williams, Jordan Martin. Got a lot of talent coming back for Freedom Prep. They're in Region 8. Typically, Region 8 not real tough. So I like the War Eagles to have a good year again this year.
Too. Briggs is good, man. He's preseason All-State or just a junior.
Yeah, absolutely. Lee, at number 5, we like Lake County, despite the fact, of course, they lose Josh Puckett, who we mentioned is now over at Shelbyville, took the Shelbyville job. And, of course, they lose his son. Help me out, Lee, the youngest, Caden Puckett. Sorry about that, Coach. Caden was the guy I kind of think probably would have been starting behind center this year had he returned.
And then they lost Snyder and Tubbs, and that's a 1-2 punch.
Exactly.
But I think that 15-0, I think that community liked that winning, and those kids are not going to forget that. And he's got some juniors and seniors returning, man, that got a lot of playoff experience under their belt. So I like them at the 5 too.
And like you said, Lee, they made deep runs the last 3 years.
That's correct.
So all these kids coming back, it's kind of like having an extra season under your belt.
Right.
I know you like to always refer to that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of curious to see who's going to do you think if somebody in staff gets the nod to get that job?
I probably would. If, if
at the 1A level, that's kind of what you normally see, isn't it?
I probably would.
Yeah, because, I mean, they've had a good run there, and good luck to Coach Puckett, good buddy of ours over here at Shelbyville. I think he's going to do a good job. I think Shelbyville made a good hire right there. At number 4, Lee, we've got West Carroll, and I think West Carroll is a sleeper for a state title this year. Got a lot of talent back this year. What's your thoughts on the War Eagles?
I like them at the 4 spot. Preseason. I mean, they got some good size, man, for a 1A squad. Which that's what we loved about Lake County last year. Jake Barrow, man, 210-pound kid. And then a 6'4", 280-pound lineman, and Jesse Mounts coming back. And if you look down the roster, lots of seniors and juniors, lots of playoff experience.
And this was a quarterfinal team last year.
Man, I think that's a good spot for them at 4.
Yeah, I like them. And like you said, Barrow is a very good tight end, good big target, 6'5". I think he's going to have a big year for them. Now, Lee, we talked about as we moved up some of the coaches that some people will say if you lose a player to the quality of a Hunter Inslee, why have you got him at in the top 5? But Coach Swenson's done a great job every year. The Mustangs are there year in, year out. We like the Mustangs at number 3, despite the fact they had one of the biggest senior classes ever had. I think they're going to be a contender again this year.
I do too. Like you said, I think we're going to lean on Coach Swenson this year, losing Hunter Inslee and lost Lawton and Pearson. Connor Pearson was a big-time player
Yeah,
for him
yeah.
last year. But those kids have been winning for so long. Those underclassmen are learning from all that, and lots of juniors again.
They went up against good talent all through the season in practice,
That's
if
correct.
not on the field.
That's correct.
So that's prepared them for this year.
So I like Huntington at the 3.
Another team, Lee, that lost a ton of talent, and of course we're talking about Greg Ryan and Greenback, the runner-up last year. But Coach Ryan, another guy you expect year in and year out, he's going to put a good quality team on the field. And they did lose Willis, they lost Stennett, of course they lost Braden Carnes, the quarterback. But I think he'll put together a team that's going to make a deep run.
He will. They'll game plan you.
So we like Greenback at 2, which leads into our number 1, Lee, and I think most people have got Vic Grider's South Pittsburgh Pirates at number 1 as we do. And I think had they not lost Braden Sanders there in the playoffs last year, we might be talking about them as a possible defending state champions.
Correct.
So we like South Pittsburgh. And having said that, Lee, let's go ahead and we'll get Coach Grider on the phone with us, and we'll discuss the South Pittsburgh Pirates 2020 team. And we'll play our top 10 for you to see. Again, you can rewind it, and we'll have this top 10 posted on our website tomorrow, Lee, and that's FridayMainEvent.com. But here's what we got as our top 10. If you missed any of it, check it out, and we'll be right back after this with Coach Grider. All right, Lee, we are back, and we've got Coach Grider on the phone. Coach, man, we appreciate you taking the time to join us today.
You too, guys. Always fun to be with you guys.
Well, listen, Coach, I'm sure over your long, illustrious career there at South Pittsburgh, you got a lot of honors, but you just been named the preseason top 10, number 1 on the Friday Main Event. Where does this rank in your lifetime achievements?
Well,
you ain't
you
supposed
know
to
how
laugh.
those things go. Unless you do something with it, those things don't mean much. When it's all over. But that's anytime somebody thinks enough of us to put that kind of label on us this early, it says a lot for our program and what we've been able to do, through the years. But we've got to figure out how to finish one of these things here pretty soon. It's getting old, not being able to finish the deal.
Well, Coach, seriously, I think the guy, all the folks over at South Pittsburgh, they got a lot to be excited about this year. I think Braden Sanders, he should be returning healthy now. You got Hunter Frame back. You got DeAndre Kelly, Jayshon Hubbard, Ryan Cagle, big tight end. You got a lot of possibilities on that offense this coming year, don't you?
Well, we do. There's no secret to we're going to have enough skill guys to give us a chance, and a lot of guys that could play for about anybody, But the key is going to be, replacing people in the offensive and defensive line. That's where we took a really big hit. Was up front on both sides of the ball. But we've got some guys that are, typical for us. They're program type guys that have been with us for 2 or 3 years, and it's their turn to stand up and play. So we're just going to have to get them ready to go whenever we can get with them again, whenever that happens. But we'll just get them ready to go and send them out there and see what happens.
Well, Coach Grider, first off, let me preface this coronavirus situation, sending out thoughts and prayers to Mr. Wigfall's family down there, man. I know that was a huge loss for y'all's community.
Yeah, huge blow for our community. I mean, Jimmy got a lot of attention, because of the football player that he was. But, if you ask me, Jimmy Wigfall was even a better person. And
Right.
That's a pretty big statement. He just was that kind of guy. And one of those that you can't replace in your community. There won't be any replacing Jimmy Wigfall. And it's just, it's been a very sad event for his family and for our community as well.
Well, Coach, talking along those lines with this coronavirus situation, have you guys been able to stay in contact with your kids, make sure you're doing the things they need to be doing on their own, and with all this social distancing going on?
Well, we've got a pretty, obviously, you guys that follow us, pretty well. We've got a pretty strong social media platform out there that we do a pretty good job of promoting the program and, staying in touch with our players and let them know what's going on and letting our fans know what's going on. So, it's just a strange time.
It sure is.
I've done this for, a long time and thought I had seen it all, but this is, without a doubt, the strangest situation that I've ever been through. I don't know. We were talking the other day on the phone with some other coaches. It's just strange to not be able to see or communicate with your kids for months at a time, and that's kind of where we're at right now. It's one thing to do it for a week or two in the dead period or, during Christmas break, but, when you start turning this thing into months, it's a really weird deal, and none of us really know how to react. So, but the thing is, everybody's in the same situation. It's not like anybody's getting an advantage on you. We're all in this together. We're all in the same boat, and we're just going to have to take our time and do what we're told to do and try to make the most of a bad situation.
Hey, Coach, have you guys got any word from, the school board, TSSAA? Have you got anything from them in regard to spring practice? Is it already officially a done deal? That's not going to happen, or where are we at on that?
Well, we've not got an official word. I mean, I think it would be fair to say at this point that it's probably, highly unlikely that it's going to take place. And we still don't have anything, for certain about school right now. We're still on a deadline of April the 27th, as far as our school being shut down. But, I'm not going to be shocked in the least if it extends past that. And I think that's probably a pretty good likelihood as well. So, it just is what it is. Like I said, I've never seen something like this. And the thing about it is nobody really has any answers right now.
Right.
And I think that's what's frustrating to most people is, nobody knows, can give you anything definite. So it's a crazy time. But like I said, we're just trying to do what we're told to do and know that it'll all work out in the end.
Well, Coach, let's look ahead to the upcoming season. Let's look ahead to that thing. We know you got a lot of big names returning this South Pitt lineup. We went over there a little bit earlier, but my understanding is you picked up a couple of kids from the Hickson area in the off season. How excited are you to see those Hunter brothers?
Well, very excited. Obviously, I made it pretty well known that I'm not the biggest fan in the world of spring practice, just to be flat honest with you. But I was really kind of looking forward to it just to be able to see those two guys, on the grass and see what they could do because, I haven't. And, I've seen some film on them, obviously. But they're two just really good-looking athletes that immediately fit very well into our school. Two super kids with a great mom that makes them do the right thing. And, I'm really excited to see what they can bring, to our program. I mean, they just are, that they're yes sir, no sir kind of guys, and they do what they're supposed to do at school. And they obviously got some athletes. They're two really good-looking kids. And, I'm anxious to get them in the program. That's another thing. Those kids moved here, right after Christmas break. And, I had about a month to know them there or whatever it was.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, I've not seen them since. So it's really tough about, they're kind of feeling their way along and learning how we do things. And all of a sudden that's pulled away. So, but I'm really excited that they're part of our program. And the good thing about it is they're young kids. They're both just sophomores. So, we're going to get a couple of years of those guys. And I think they're going to make us a better football team.
Well, Coach, we got a whole 5 other classes we got to cover. Man, we definitely want to get on and talk to you a little bit and tell you we appreciate you guys over at South Pitt. And I think Lee and I, we're probably going to try to come up there. We're looking at maybe 9/11. I think that's when you got the new Jaspers team coming in. We may try to get up there for that one, and hopefully you'll have us up there.
Absolutely. You guys are always welcome here. That's a good one to pick now. It'll be a great atmosphere as always that night.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, good luck to you, brother. And we'll be in touch with you when the fall starts up.
Sounds good, guys. Great to talk to y'all again.
Thank you, Coach. See you, bud. All right, Mr. Teat. Vic Grider, South Pittsburgh, one of the best, man.
I think he's sitting on a squad, buddy.
He's sitting on a darn good squad.
He's
I mean,
sitting on a squad.
I felt very good about that number 1 pick.
Yeah, he's sitting on a squad.
Some of them I'm a little nervous, but I feel good about that one. Lee, let's roll right into 2A, man. Like I say, I may have not have slotted enough. I'm realizing I may have been a little ambitious with this schedule here.
We can bust it out.
We'll bust it out. So we're looking at 2A now, Lee, and if you look at 2A, same situation. We're going to have 4 honorable mentions, and much like 1A, you got several teams in that 10 to 15 to 20 range that you could put in there. We've got South Green. We've got Lewis County. We've got Tyner, which lost a lot of talent. Wayne Turner, a great coach there, lost a lot of talent. We've got Hampton. I think Lunsford's got a pretty good team.
Yep.
We've got those 4 teams right there in that, close to top 10 range.
Yes.
You like those 4 as our honorable mentions?
Yeah, I do. Adamsville's right there in that mix too, I would think.
Yeah, Adamsville's going to be tough. Fairley's always tough. They lost a lot. So we'll go right in their top 10 so we don't dwell too much on and we get behind. We'll get behind if we're not careful. At number 10, Lee, we got Forest. Eli Stevenson's squad made a good third-round run, lost a heartbreaker to Riverside last year. We like Forest despite the fact that they lost Nick McClendon.
Correct.
I think they got a lot of talent coming back. How you like the Rockets?
I like them, and I know they got another McClendon at running back who's a sophomore.
All right.
Coming in.
Right.
And then, of course, they got a senior quarterback, senior leadership. We like that. I like them at the 10.
I think that's a good spot for them, Lee. Region 5 is a pretty solid region, and they're going to be contending for that title, I think, in Region 5. We got the team that eliminated them, Riverside, Johnny Frost's Panthers. We got them at number 9, Lee. They did lose a lot of talent as well. They got Alex Tolley back, linebacker, senior year. He had a big year for him last year. Grayson Townsend, Luke Lewis, big offensive lineman. I got a lot of talent there at Riverside. I think if they can fill in the gap for some of the skill players they lost, they're going to be in the mix again this year.
Yeah, that Lewis County and Adamsville, I think we'll know more, when they start squaring up with those guys. But I like them at the 9. Coach Frost has had a real good run the last few years.
He has. Semifinals last year. Very impressive. Of course, he started that community program up over here in my neighborhood.
That's right.
So very, very familiar with Coach Frost. He's done a great job there at Riverside. We like him at 9. At number 8, we've got a Region 7 team, a team that may be a bit of a surprise to some folks. That's such a solid region lead, but I think Wade Comer's McKenzie Rebels are going to be good this year. They got a lot of good talent back.
Yeah, they got put out by Peabody last year in the second round, but Peabody was a whole different animal,
right.
But there again, I'm going to hit the nail on the head again is Eli Suber's coming back, senior quarterback. A lot of senior leadership if you look across their roster. I like them at the 8.
Like them at the 8. Looking on down, and I talked to Coach Meadow the other day, Lee. Houston County, the Fighting Irish, 9-2 last year. They did get eliminated by Eagleville, but according to Coach Meadow, he really likes this squad, man. He's got a lot of kids back. He's got several returning starters. Andrew Meadow back at quarterback. Case Jones, a big offensive lineman. Warren Gant back at running back. I think Houston County is going to have a pretty solid squad again this year.
We'll know more about them when they face West Carroll.
That Region 6 we got a lot of teams in Region 6, Lee, and I think Region 6 is going to be pretty competitive this year. Eagleville, another Region 5 team. We like the Eagles, Floyd Walker's squad. We got them at number 6.
Yep.
They got knocked out by Forest in the second round, but Marcus Collins back at quarterback, Wyatt McLemore, a very good running back, Damian Stingley, Jack Harris. Pretty solid returning squad for Eagleville.
Well, Coach Walker's always solid.
I like that dude.
He just he runs a solid program.
He tried to get me to line up and play for him last year.
Yep, he runs a solid program. I like him right there, just outside the top 5.
I think that was a nice way of saying I was fat. He wanted me on the line. I think that's what I was getting out of it anyway.
Well, that's better than what he asked me to hold the water bottle.
Yeah, I'm sure. Meigs County, Lee, Jason Fitzgerald, one of our favorite coaches, fresh off of a championship run. Of course, he lost his stud, Aaron Swafford Lee, but it's kind of like we were talking about with 1A with the Huntingtons and the Lake Counties. These kids have made deep runs the last 2 or 3 years. So despite the fact they lost a lot of seniors, he's got a lot of kids that's got a lot of playing time coming back.
And a lot of big ball game experience.
Exactly. They were at South Pitt last year.
Yep,
remember?
Trousdale, they've been there a few times. Big ball game, big atmosphere, so I don't think they're going to be intimidated a lick.
And you got a big-time coach.
That's right.
And I mean big in stature as well. Coach Fitzgerald, he's a pretty big dude, man. He's a good guy. We love him. We've got them at number 5. Lee at number 4, Randall Bolden. Of course, he won the title with Whitwell a couple of years back. He's in his second year at Waverly. I think Waverly's going to be solid. That's yet another Region 6 team we've got here in the top 10. Are we putting too much faith in Region 6?
No, but I tell you what, man, Coach Bolden's schedule is brutal.
Yeah, it is, Lee. You're exactly right. He's on the tail end of that 2-year schedule with the Huntington, Camden, Fairview, McEwen is in Westview.
I mean, that's a brutal schedule
to
try to get through, but you should be playoff ready.
Yeah,
get through it.
That's very true, Lee. But Aiden Brooks back at quarterback, junior. Ryan Edwards, Brady's. I guess Brady Stanfield. He's probably the younger brother of. Help me out.
Gavin,
yeah, the quarterback that led them deep a couple years ago. That's his younger brother. Correct?
So. I think that's right.
I think
yes,
you're
sir.
right. Watertown, Lee, we may have them low.
Buddy.
But until they can go to that creek bank in the postseason, or I guess they ain't going to creek bank because they've been winning the region. But until they can get them
Yellow Jackets in
the postseason, I can't hardly put them above 3. But they're going to be very, very good this year.
Man, they have got some athletes. I mean, some real athletes. These are not typical 2A kids.
And Casino is one kid we really like, the returning quarterback, 2,000 passing yards, 16 TDs last year. Really big on him. Quintarius Hughes Malone, he's an athlete, listed as an athlete. They're loaded. They're going to be good. They're going to be right there in the mix,
They're going to be real good.
Exactly. At number 2, Lee, it's one of those situations we talked about in the 1A. You got a coach we put a lot of faith in, man. And this guy, he lost a lot. He lost Cooper Vargas. He lost Noah Hallbrook. He lost Dixon. He lost Hammonds. They were just loaded with talent. And they got some good talent coming back. I don't mean to undermine that. But I don't think most people would have the Peabody Golden Tide at number 2, considering how much they lost. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would think, most people are not putting them at the 2 spot. But I'll tell you what, Coach Jacobs.
Dude can coach,
He can coach, man. Now, yes, he did have a really good physical team last year.
Yes.
It's going to be interesting to see if he can stay as physical.
Right.
But, hey, if he can't, he'll figure out a way to spread you out and finesse you to death,
I agree.
So I would have 2 and 3 right here, Mike. I was a little
I hear you, man.
iffy, but hey, you can't go against
them. It's preseason.
Who was the champs last year?
Yeah, well,
Golden Tide.
Exactly. So the last 2 years.
That's right.
So you got to have them up there.
Got to have them there.
And we love that staff.
Yeah,
I was able to visit those facilities, man. They got a nice field over there. I checked that out a couple months ago.
Shout out to Lee Hayes too.
That's our dude, man, over there. He's our hookup for Peabody. Appreciate Lee. Looking at number 1, Lee, and any guesses here?
Yeah,
Yellow Jackets.
Yellow Jackets.
Just talked about them, man. Coach Blake Satterfield, Trousdale County Yellow Jackets. We got them at number 1. We're looking potential rematch of the state title game a couple of years ago with the Golden Tide and the Yellow Jackets.
Could possibly happen.
Cameron Rankin is back at running back. They got Jaden Hicks back at quarterback. A lot of returning talent, and Satterfield in his second year there at the helm. I think he's got a team that's going to compete for a title.
I think so. They're going to be right in the mix.
All right, Lee, let's quickly go ahead and scroll out. We'll put that top 10 up on the screen for you guys. We'll get Coach Satterfield on the phone, hopefully, and we'll be back right after this. All right, Mr. Teat, we are back, and we have the man on the phone with us, Coach Satterfield. Coach, we appreciate you jumping on with us, man.
Hey, no problem, Mike and Lee. Thank y'all for having me on again. I appreciate that.
Well, Coach, we feel this should be a very good Yellow Jacket squad. We were just talking about it this year. You got Cameron Rankins leading the way. I know we spoke on the phone last week, but tell the folks a few names of some of the guys that you'll be relying on to lead this 2020 squad.
Well, like you said, we do have a lot of returners, a lot on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. The one thing that we're going to miss from last year is the absence of Kobe Ford at running back. You know, he was a great ball carrier for us. And then also Tavares Claiborne at a tight end and linebacker as well. So those are two guys right there that come right off my mind about some guys we're going to lose. And of course, Jaden Hayward, our all-state linebacker as well. But some guys we got coming back, obviously you mentioned Cameron Rankins at our fullback and a linebacker, played a little defensive end for us last year. Jaden Hicks, our quarterback, who unfortunately had an injury last year and put him, missing the last half of the season.
Right.
We've got some guys coming back at a lot of our offensive line. We lose, Austin Knapp, who was our only senior last year. So that's one thing that I'm excited about, is returning our offensive and defensive linemen. All right, that's, as you all know, that's the meat grinder, and that's where a lot of games are won and lost late in the ball game in the fourth quarter. And we got some other guys. We've got some seniors that didn't play last year. I was fortunate to come out, that played as sophomores, just didn't play as juniors. But we've got a lot of returners, guys that's going to help us out. We got wing-backs. We got Sebastian Lenores, who's a wing-back for us, Bryson Claiborne, Jordan Pickett, who played a lot for us. That's one good thing, me being this is my second year going into it. That was one thing I come into. I had some pretty good athletes, and, obviously, you have to develop your athletes with the time in which you have them. And right now, as you mentioned earlier, talking is, we're in a weird era right now with not being able to see our kids and everything, and hoping they get better and everything. So it's kind of weird, but like you said, we got a lot of returners, and I'm looking forward to it.
Well, Coach, you just mentioned it. We talked to Coach Grider just a few minutes ago about this.
Right.
How are you staying in contact with your guys during all this?
Well, I'll be honest. I right at the very beginning, the day, I think it was March the 18th. We kind of, we had the news and everything, so I didn't even get to see my kids at school. I had to send them a text message and everything, and say, hey, I don't know how long this is going to last. I think it was 2 weeks at that time. And said, we're on spring break next week anyways, so it kind of worked out pretty good, for almost like a two week dead period,
right.
Almost is basically what we was going to deal with. And then, obviously those 2 weeks went by, and, we added a couple more weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. And I tried really not to bother our kids. I know that, we had 10 great weeks in the weight room leading up to this, this Corona break right here. So I really tried not to bother them about, trying to get them a place to work out and everything, their families. Number one is I didn't want to get our kids together and risk, somebody
Sure.
taking
Absolutely.
something home,
Right.
home with them. And then that would be on you as a coach. And
Right.
I just wasn't going to have that. I'm going to play by the rules and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But, recently, they made the stay-at-home mandate and everything the governor did. So our kids, I've been texting, calling them, FaceTiming a little bit about, some kids have at home, they have a workout bench or, a squat rack or something they can do. A lot of YouTube videos out there that they could watch, some things that I've kind of planned for them a little bit too. But, it's a little mix of everything. And it's also about what accessibility kids have to certain weights and things like that. Now, obviously, they're not getting the same look and everything, the same work that they are when it's organized and they're in your weight room and you've got it all, percentages for them and everything. And that's something that I've had trouble dealing with. I'm kind of worried about that. But then again, it reminds me that all the other coaches in the state are going through the exact same thing. So,
Well, Coach, when I talked to you last week, you and I got to talk a little bit, and you felt, and I also feel that Watertown, matter of fact, we have Watertown at number 3.
Yes, sir.
I think they're going to be very good this
Sure.
year. I think you guys have got them week 3, so don't be shocked. Lee and I may be up there on the creek bank for that one.
Well, I appreciate that. Hey, number one, I think we spoke last week, and I might have called you crazy for putting us at number 1. I said, I don't know. You got a lot of state going in with a second-year head coach and everything, especially when you got Peabody back to back, and you got Watertown, you got Meigs County. I think you guys mentioned it a little while ago with your top 10 and everything, and I think anytime you go with that top 10, it's a toss-up when you get in the top 5 for sure, at least when you got Waverly, Meigs, Watertown, and Peabody, and Trousdale County. You know, it's whoever shows up that Friday night. But we all know our schedule is going to be tough. The front end of our schedule, we open up with Friendship Christian at home, which obviously that's going to be a very tough game for us. And then me and Coach Hamilton actually worked out a deal at White House. We're playing them week 2. We're going to White House.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah,
I was hoping it would be Lewis County, man. I was going to get on you about Coach Sharp.
I know. Well, hey, we tried right there with Lewis County. So,
but that's a good game, though. That's good.
Oh, it's a great game for us. You know, that's a big school and everything, and it's kind of an old rival.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we used to play them back in the day. So I'm pumped about that. And then obviously our week 3, like you mentioned, is Watertown at home. And, you know, unfortunately, we haven't been able to beat Watertown the first game around. Hopefully, you know.
But you've been winning the one that counts, so.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, this is the tough. You know, Coach Webster's a great coach. He has his guys ready. I think Lee said a minute ago about they're just not athletes; they're real athletes. I mean, Watertown's got some studs over there.
Yeah,
I mean, you talk about Malone, you talk about their quarterback. I mean, they've got offensive and defensive linemen, and they're just a solid football team. And that's. You know, I don't want to say it's an unfortunate that we play them early in the year, but, you know, as a scheduling, you would kind of want that game to be right there at week 9 or week 10.
Oh, yeah.
You know, when you're going, you know, when you're kind of hitting on all cylinders and everything.
Yep.
But one thing that having a front end of the schedule that's tough, you know, with Friendship, with White House and Watertown, is it gives you something in the summer to prepare for, you know, to push your kids and knowing how, you know, your kids respond and knowing that they don't open up with a team or the first 3 ball games. We could easily go 0-3 in our first 3 ball games this year, which is, in a way, it's scary, but in another way, it gives you motivation and something to prepare for as well.
Right.
You know, talking about Watertown being a viable threat. Well, our top 10, you know, from the from the East, we only have Meigs and you guys in Watertown. You know, who do you see as another viable threat coming out of the East?
Did we miss anybody over on that side?
Well, I mean, I think anytime you think about it, you know, Tyner Academy pops in your mind. I know they lose a lot, you know. Unfortunately, that quarterback and that receiver, Batiste and Riles, I think Royals Riles, they were great at some of the best athletes we saw all year.
Absolutely.
I think they're a viable team. Obviously, Watertown, and I would say Trousdale. I think those probably would be your top 3 from the East. You know, and then obviously, I think the West is loaded.
Me too.
In my opinion.
Right.
I mean, I think you'd honestly have to go 7 out of your top 10 teams are probably from the West. You know, so
we did good then.
Yeah, I mean, I would. Yeah, I agreed with you and everything. Up until number 1, you know, that's kind of a lot of pressure. But you know, other than that, no, I think that you know, I think y'all mentioned Waverly, Lewis County. I mean, those are Forest. I think, you know, those are all quality people. But you know, anytime. And here's the thing that I try to tell people and everything about, you know, the kids that you have, the athletes that you have, and what you're doing. You know, it's not all about X's and O's. It's not all about what you're doing. It's all about, it don't matter what you do, what offense you run, wing tee, whether it's spread. It's all about just getting your kids to get behind you as a head coach and believe in what you do. Amen. And getting, you know, those 50 kids to buy into what you do and the community buying what you do. And it doesn't matter what schematics, what you do, as long as people buy in and they're all on the same page and they're willing to work harder and longer than the other person, you know, the guy on the other side of the line, then you have a great chance to be successful. So that's all I try to tell our kids, you know, and kids understand when coaches, my coaching staff's awesome, you know, from Coach Pitch to Coach Dyer to Coach Williams, all my volunteer coaches that's helped out, that's played at Trousdale County, they want what's best for the kids. And, you know, at the end of the day, you're only as good as your coach, you know, your assistants and everything. And I've got great, you know, guys backing me and everything. But knowing that your coaches and your community care about what you do, and I think the kids, that translates over to the kids working hard. Then when all kinds of people show up for them and got their backs and everything. And I'm so proud of our kids up until the time that we left. And they know when I send them messages and stuff, they can sound like, Coach, you sound a little depressed right now. It's like, well, I'm not going to lie, I am depressed right now. You know, I don't get to see you every day. And, you know, it's kind of a weird time that we're going through. Yeah. And, you know, you can't have an eye on everybody. You can't control some things right now, which is okay. That's fine. Because, you know, at the end of the day, we're doing things the right way. But hopefully this thing blows over and we can get our kids back and get on a quote-unquote normal schedule, you know.
Well, Coach, I messed up. I didn't schedule enough darn time for these interviews, but we got to move on. We got to move on to 3A. But, man, we really glad we got a chance to talk to you, and we're going to be hollering at you in the fall.
All right. Well, hey, I appreciate it. Hopefully I'll see y'all week 3.
Absolutely. We plan on it, brother.
All right, yes, sir. Y'all stay safe, and thank you for having me on.
Thank you,
yes,
Coach.
sir.
See you,
Thank you,
buddy.
Coach.
All right, no problem. See y'all. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Lee, absolutely love that dude.
He's a coach.
He's what coaching high school football is all about, man. He is, and he's got a long lineage of
Grandfather, father,
yeah.
brother, him. I mean, it's in their blood,
It's
man.
in the blood, and he's eat up with it, man.
Yes, sir.
He's got it in spades, and I love him.
That's right.
He's a good guy. Appreciate him jumping on with us. All right, Lee, are you ready to move on? We're just a little behind, so we'll move on to our we'll go 3A. We're ready for 3A, right?
roll with
You ready for 3A?
I bet that's a surprise.
I bet that's a shocker. I had no idea who was number one in that class. So, Lee, we'll get things started with our honorable mentions in 3A. And the teams we had just outside our top 10, we had Stratford, we had Giles County, we had Upperman, we had Westview as our 4 teams just outside the top 10. And, again, you can make an argument for any of these teams being in the top 10. Fairview, I forgot Fairview as well. Coach Hughes. So, well, you can make an argument for these teams being in the top 10.
Absolutely.
But, I mean, you can only have 10 in the top
right.
10. So, that's the way that played out. But we like those teams, and they could potentially make a third round run if things play out correctly. At number 10, Lee was a team you were real high on. Matter of fact, I think you were the main reason we moved them in the top 10. And I understand why. We got East Nashville, the Eagles, at number 10, who are currently coachless.
That's correct, but they're not athletic-less. They are loaded
Plenty of athletes.
with athletes. And
Yes,
when
sir.
I say athletes, I'm talking about 4 or 5 kids
Right.
that
right.
can move, can get it. They got a good taste of winning last year. Got knocked out by Pearl, who ended up in the state championship game.
Right.
But those kids are phenomenal athletes, and they'll get in the top 10 just on athleticism. At
number 9, Lee, the team that won Region 7, which I felt was one of the toughest regions in the state, South Gibson. Coach Stedham, his team is very good. A lot of talent coming back. They got knocked out by Covington there in the second round, 14-10. But he's got Landon Lambert back at wide receiver, Travis Parker at running back, Ross Crenshaw, Maury Marable. A lot of talent there at South Gibson. I expect them to be a good team again this year.
Yep, like them at the 9.
Like them at the number 9. At number 8, Lee, we got our good friend over in East Tennessee, Derek Rang and his Gatlinburg Pittman. I think GP, another team in a very good Region 2.
Yes.
Region 2, Region 5, Region 7. These are 3 regions you'll see heavy numbers in our top 10. 3 very good regions. We like GP at number 8.
I do too.
At number 7, Lee, we got Red Bank over in Region 3. Chris Brown doing a phenomenal job, 21-3 in 2 years there at Red Bank. 10-2 last year. They got knocked out by Loudon, 33-14 there in the third round. A lot of talent back for this Red Bank team.
Yeah, he's got a couple preseason All-Staters coming back in Jaden High and B.J. Ragland. So I like Red Bank, buddy.
A team that I'm really anxious to see, Lee, is another
sir.
Region 17, and that's the Milan Bulldogs. I went over there a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. They totally redoing their field, man. They got it tore all to hell. Pardon the French. But, I think the guys that was working on the field said that they'll be good to go by August. But, man.
Got a new coach at the helm.
Got a new coach. What do you know about him, man?
43-10 from North Panola.
Okay.
South Panola typically gets the hype down there, but he was 43-10 at North Panola.
Okay.
And he can coach, man. So I'm anxious to see. Milan's traditional rich program too.
Right.
So I think they're going to be fine, but I'm anxious to see the guy, and they got plenty of talent, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. Austin East, Lee, another Region 2 team in there with Alcoa and GP, and we haven't even had, I think we had East Ridge in our teams to watch. So
yes.
Region 2, very talented. Jeff Phillips does a great job there, 43-29 in the 6 years, 9-4, 5-1. Alcoa has been their Achilles heel, their kryptonite, as you like to say.
Yeah, 12 of those 29 losses in 6 years are to Alcoa.
That's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy, crazy, man. But, what can you say?
Got to play the game.
I like them, man. I like them.
Yep.
If they wasn't in with Alcoa, if Alcoa wasn't in 3A, I'd like them as a a possible championship type
Coming out
team.
of the East.
Absolutely. Another team we got at number 4. We got Loudon. Jeff Herrig, man, he has done a phenomenal job in his return to Loudon. He left there. I think was Knoxville West there for 2 or 3 years, but he's back at Loudon now. They really dropped off the radar, but now that he's back, they're legit again. 13-1 last year. Lost to Alcoa in the semifinals. I like the Redskins.
I do too. Got his son playing QB there, junior. That's always, like you said, you got the OC and the head coach right there, and 24/7. So he's going to be a pretty good ball player.
At number 3, Lee, we got your favorite coach, and I guess he's all right, J.R. Kirby, our buddy over at Gogan.
Man, he's staying on the lake a lot.
Yeah, sorry, dog. Have you got an invite?
I know one thing. He's been running noodles and limb lining and catching catfish, and I know all about that, Coach Kirby. So you just need some help. You call me, brother.
You got the hookup, right?
I know how to do it.
Yeah, I hadn't got an invite either. I'm a little pissed off about that. But that's all right, brother. Next time I'm over in West Tennessee, now you know I didn't visit your field. He can invite us out fishing. But they got Marcus Hayes back, Lee.
Yeah, he's a real deal.
He's a Mr. Football finalist a couple of years ago. I think he had some injuries last year, but he's back for his senior year. AC Mason Young, another running back.
Hey, this team is 2 points away from being in the finals.
That's
last
right.
year.
Yeah, exactly right. They lost 1 point to Pearl Cone in the semifinal, and that would have been their 3rd trip in a row.
Exactly.
So they got a really good program, stout program, and he's continued what Marty Wheeler started there at Covington. Coach Kirby at number 3, I like him there.
Right.
Pearl Cone, Lee, Coach Bernetti, and that was one of my funnest interviews we did up in Cookeville last year. That dude, he told me to pick him low, and we got him at number 2. He's probably going to kill me, I guess.
Yeah, he's going to be mad, but he's got it. You know what I like about Coach Bernetti, man? He don't duck. He plays a rough schedule, real rough schedule.
Oh, man.
They got handled a little bit in the championship game last year, and I think that's going to stick with Coach Bernetti a little bit. But the big thing with him is he's got everybody you saw on that field last year in that game back.
I'm sorry, I was thinking about that interview. He said, y'all had us way down, down.
Yep.
And we interviewed him. As soon as I said my name, he knew who we were.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah, you fellas had us way down there. After the interview's over, Coach, where you want to speak yet? Oh, pick us down there at the bottom.
Way down there. Yeah.
He's funny, dude.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Lee, they got a lot of talent, man.
Coming back.
Yeah, Breedlove's back. Dayton's back. Jordan's back. And Martino Owens, man. He got hurt in that title game, but my understanding is he's good to go now.
Back healthy.
So, that's they're going to be, I would say, the favorite to get back for a rematch with, who's number 1, Lee?
Alcoa.
Alcoa, the Tornadoes, Gary Rankin.
Absolutely loaded again.
And they're loaded more so this year than they were last year.
Exactly.
It's crazy what Gary Rankin's been able to do over there at Alcoa, and nobody could pick against them again this year.
No.
Matter of fact, Lee, let's go ahead and get Coach Rankin on the phone with us. We no surprise, everybody expected them to be number 1 in 3A, so we'll get Coach Rankin on and talk about that. I'm going to scroll the 3A top 10 for you. We'll be back with Coach Rankin right after this. All right, Lee, we got the man, the myth, the legend. We got Coach Gary Rankin on with us. Coach, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, thank you. Doing great.
Said you up in the mountains. What's going on up there, man? You vacationing?
There ain't much going on. We're just we're out in a little cabin just trying to get away from everybody and just relax a little bit. So of course you can't get out and do anything. So
Right.
we're good though. We're blessed. Everything's good.
Well, Coach, we as I told you this week, we got you guys as number one. No big surprise. What similarities is this team going to be pretty close to last year? I think you got a whole lot of kids coming back that were on that team.
If we retain them all, we get them all back. We've got a chance to be pretty good, I think. Now that doesn't always happen. We brought back 9 on defense.
Wow.
We've already lost 1, so we're looking at 8, and there's a possibility we could lose 1 or 2 more to different things, grades, different things. But we should be fine. We've got to find offensive linemen. We really got wiped out in the offensive line, and that was probably one of our keys last year. We had some kids that had started there for 3 years.
Right.
That was really the foundation of our program at that time, our team.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys were unselfish. If you go back and look at the state championship game, we just we blocked the crap out of that team. So,
absolutely.
Yes, sir.
they were really, really good, really good up front, and we lost 4 of those guys. So that's going to be our starting point.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a lot of skilled people back. Got a lot of defensive linemen back, but offensive line is a place that's going to start with us whenever we get started. I start to say this spring, but that's not going to happen. So this summer, whenever we do get cranked back up, that's our first, our main objective is try to get our offensive line built back.
Right. Well, Coach, obviously the headlines have been for the last few weeks the corona scare that's going on.
Right.
I wanted to ask you for kind of a different question on this. How do you think this is going to affect programs across the state financially?
Well, it might affect some. I mean, you're talking about from a football standpoint?
Yes, sir. Yes, from an athletic standpoint, but also from a football standpoint.
No doubt the baseballs and all the spring sports, those, I feel for those kids. I think our softball and baseball team played maybe 2 games, and then it was over.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not really sure we're going to get to started back, tell you the truth. Maybe that'll clear up a little bit in 2 or 3 weeks. I do want to applaud the Telos AA and Bernard Childers for keep fighting and trying to find a way maybe to let these kids play some kind of state championship game. And, Telos AA gets criticized a lot. It's sort of like being a head coach or being a principal at a high school. But, they get popped on a lot, but they do a great job. And, I heard one of their meetings not too long ago, and they're doing everything they can to try to salvage some kind of state championships for the basketball and the baseballs. And, I just applaud them for that.
Well, Coach, we're talking about that, losing the spring camp, losing all the spring sports for high school. I don't know about you, but I kind of feel like, we talked about earlier, Puckett at Shelbyville. He's new to that program. I think coaches that have got a lot of new players and then new coaches to programs, I think that's going to put them at even a bigger disadvantage.
That'll put them behind a little bit. There's no doubt. I mean, you're talking about 10 days in spring practice. So I don't think it's a make or break thing because you can do about what you want to in the month of June.
Okay.
We don't choose to do a lot of that. It may be a little more this time because of spring practice, but you've really got a lot of time in the summer to get ready to play. You have to balance that out, how much time you want to use. And, I'm not really sure when they're going to let us start back in the summer. But if all the high school teams can start back in June, sometimes in June, there's one thing about it, and there'll be people make excuses and say things, but it's going to be equal on everybody. It doesn't matter if they don't let us start practicing until whatever, the middle of July. It's going to be the same for everybody.
Right.
So I think we'll get back started sometime in June, and we should have time to get the kids in shape and do what you got to do. But I can see where a new coach coming into a new program feels like he's behind the 8 ball a little bit, and you are, but you are anyway. No matter what, if you get your 10 days, you're still a little bit behind, but it makes it a little bit more difficult on those guys for sure. Mm-hmm. And how many kids you got coming back? We got quite a few kids coming back.
That's where I think it's to your advantage.
No doubt.
Like you said, you got 9 or 10 kids back. That's not going to. This shutdown is not going to affect you to the degree it is guys that are having to replace 7, 8, 9 starters.
We'd already talked about what in the spring how physical we were going to be because we got a lot of proven players.
Yes, sir. You do.
You don't need to go out there and beat those guys around. Now we've been on the other end of it. we've lost all our starters a couple of years and had to come back in the spring. But it'll be an advantage to some people. It's got some, but in the long run, I think we're leaving all out, and I think it just like it always does, the cream will rise to the top, whoever it might be in each division.
Well, Coach, you got 439 wins. Do you ever think you'd see those kind of numbers 40 years ago?
No,
When
I never even thought
County?
about it. No. A lot of people don't know I didn't win a game the first year.
Well, we do that. Smith County
started off about it. I've been on both ends of it. I've been on we had the longest losing streak in the state at one time in Smith County. I think they were 0-18 or 19 when I went in there, and we put 10 more up. The next year we were 7-3, went to a bowl game, and that hadn't happened there in about 25 years. But I've been fortunate. I've been lucky. I've been fortunate. I've been in some good programs and never really sat back and thought about it a whole lot. It's just it seems like you're always just getting ready for the next year, getting ready for the next game, and enjoying the kids that you're working with at the time. So I've been very, very blessed and very, very fortunate, no doubt about that.
Well, Coach, I know you said you wasn't able to hear our top 10, but we did have Austin East and GP out of your region in our top 10, and we think Kingston is also going to be a pretty good team. Do you think?
Kingston?
Do you think that region too? Do you think that's among the toughest in the state?
Kingston's got a lot of kids coming back,
mm-hmm.
And Panky does a great job down there, so they'll certainly be a much better football team than they've been. GP's been building a little bit, and AE lost some pretty good players, but they've got them walking around over. They got tremendous athletes.
Right.
Sometimes they'll get them out late or early fall, and they've always got plenty of athletes. So our region will probably be pretty testy this year.
Yep.
Well, Coach, you got Sam Valton back at the quarterback spot. And, you had pretty good praise for him last year when we interviewed you down in Cookeville. Do you think he's received an offer from Ole Miss? You got any idea where he may play?
I have no idea. He had a great game last year for us. I mean, running the football, he was just tremendous in that game. He's been he's been a great leader at Alcoa.
Yes, sir.
But he was without a doubt a big cog, in our football team last year. But we got plenty of weapons. We got plenty of guys that can do things with the football. So we're looking forward to this year whenever we get started.
That darn Cam Burden was a kid that impressed me, man. He's a ball player, isn't he?
Cam's a great ball player, great kid, great family. Dad came down and started coaching basketball at our place, and we finally got him out to help us in football a little bit. But Cam's a great kid. He's got some offers from some different people. Just a tremendous person, and really, really good athlete.
Coach, I appreciate you taking the time to jump on with us, buddy. Lee and I are really looking forward. We're missing football, man. I'm sure you guys are too, but we're looking forward.
Yeah, we do, and it's just it's a highly unusual thing, and we had our school open there for a while that we could bring a few kids in. They closed that down, so we're hands off on our kids right now. We just wanted to be safe and be doing what they're supposed to be doing. But as far as getting any kind of football work done with them or condition or anything like that, it's at a standstill at our place. So hopefully that something will break here in the next 2 or 3, 4 weeks, and we can get those guys back working like everybody else in the state.
Coach Rankin, you the best, buddy. We appreciate you jumping on with us. We'll holler at you again here come fall.
Appreciate it, guys. You guys stay safe.
All right,
thanks, Coach.
Well, he's up in the mountains enjoying Easter weekend.
439 darn wins.
And thinking about that defense he's got coming back. God almighty, boy,
I think he had 10 shutouts
dude.
Last year, including the title game. So.
Oh, my. Well, they walked. The playoffs had. I don't think – did anybody score them in the playoffs?
No. Oh, well.
One touchdown or something.
Yeah. But I know they had 10 shutouts total last year.
Like Loudon, they beat in the semis 56-0.
Yeah. And it was a good Loudon team.
A great one.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he's up in the mountains thinking about Easter and great defense.
Tough life, ain't it?
It's awful.
Lee, let's take a quick break here, brother.
Let's do it, man. I need a drink of water.
I need a drink of water, too. Let's take a break, and then we'll come right back and we'll hit it with 4A. Hey guys, Mike Molder here. I want to kind of give you a little rundown of what we've got lined up for the 2020 season. The plan right now is we're going to try to follow the same format we had last year. We'll be on location at different high schools each week. We'll set up on the field, usually in the, somewhere around the end zone or behind the end zone. And the plan now is to also interview coaches at that particular school, the opposing coach, home coach, and then we'll do 2 other coaches, typically one from the east, one from the west side of the state. Most of the games we'll cover are mid-state. However, we do travel to South Pitt every year. We'll definitely go there. And we hope to try to get over to West Tennessee and catch a game over there live during this season. But I want to let you know what we've got lined up for this year. We'll do coaches interviews the first hour of the show. And, again, that's Friday, 4:30 to 6:30 each week. We'll be live. So the first hour is coaches interviews. Second hour, we'll break down the top 25 games across the state. And we'll have a list of those games on our FridayMainEvent.com website each week. So if you want to go there ahead of the show, you can get a rundown of what games we'll be talking about, we'll be discussing. Feel free to chime in. You got a big game for any particular week, hit us up at Tennessee Sports on Twitter. You can also hit us up on Facebook, Friday Main Event on Facebook. There's also contact information on FridayMainEvent.com. So if you've got a big game lined up for a particular week, you want to make sure we discuss it. Again, hit us up, 2 or 3 days ahead of time, and we'll make sure we get that game on our schedule. But we'll be sponsored again this year by Jim Thompson at CoachT.com. This will be our 3rd year in a row of being associated with Coach Thompson over there. Really appreciate those guys. So if you haven't renewed that Coach T Plus membership, this is a good time to do that. I think everything's going to get back to normal. At least I hope so here in the next month or two, in time for high school football. So I'm sure you guys, just like us, we're ready for some high school football. And it's right around the corner, and I think we'll get started on time. At least that may be wishful thinking, but I believe it'll happen. But want to give you guys an idea of what we got lined up for 2020. Again, I'm Mike Molder, and I'll be with Lee Teat, and we appreciate you guys following us, and let's get ready for some high school football. All right, Lee, we are back, refreshed. You get your little beverage in there. You
Yes,
good
sir.
to go?
Got a little water in me.
Hey, we kind of checked out a little bit of the live chat there while we was taking a break. Greenville's getting on you already, man. I hope you got them at number 1.
Oh,
God
Lord.
help you if you ain't got them at number 1, Lee.
I know it. I can't go back.
I'm going to let you know, Class 4A, Lee Teat. I didn't have anything to do with it. So all you Green Devil fans, if you don't like the results. I give them a little prelude there, didn't I?
Yeah.
All right, Lee, honorable mentions for Class 4A. We have Sullivan South, we have Lexington, we have Tullahoma, and we have East Ridge.
Yep.
I said East Ridge in 3A earlier. Did you hear that? That was a little goof up. But that's our teams we've got just outside the top 10, Lee. And, again, as we said in the other classes, these are teams that could easily be in the bottom half of the top 10, but you can only have 10 teams in. And we chose to start our top 10 with Steve Trapp's DeKalb County Tigers.
Right.
Coming off a third-round appearance last year. He's got a lot of talent back, Lee. They did lose to Nolensville in the third round, but with Axel Adino, is that how you say that? I knew I was going to mess that up. At quarterback, senior returning, I think the Tigers are going to be pretty solid again this year. They're in Region 3.
Yep, Evan Jones is a good ball player there, too. Then I went down and watched them when they played Marshall County. And,
you did, that's right.
Coach Trapp had them rolling, man. So I think they got a taste of that winning and playoff wins. First couple he's ever gotten down there, so I think they're going to get back to it.
East Hamilton, our buddy Grant
Reynolds.
Reynolds, the Hurricanes, we got them at number 9, Lee. They're in Region 2. Well, I'm a big fan of Grant Reynolds. I think he's one of the best coaches around. 7-4 last year in his first year back in Tennessee. Of course, he coached in Alabama for a while. He's got Blaine Savage, a really solid, strong safety back. Haynes Eller at quarterback. Brandon Williams, 6'1", 320-pound guard.
I think I just run behind him.
Going to be clearing the path for him. I like East Hamilton. I think the Hurricanes are going to make some noise there in Region 2, Lee. Of course, the team a little bit further up in the top 5 will be a contender with them in that region. Hardin County, I really like Matthew Smith and what he was able to do last year. They lost in the third round in overtime. He's got some kids back. Rivers Hunt's back at quarterback.
Good quarterback, too.
Yes, sir. Hudson Wolf, a big tight end All-State. He's back. So a lot of talent there for Hardin County. Again, undefeated in Region 6 last year. I think the Tigers are solid again this year.
I think so.
Nolensville Lee, we love Paul Derrick. We visited Nolensville a couple of times last year. Lost in the semifinal to the eventual state champion Elizabethton. Their top dog, Ryder Gallardi at quarterback, is back. I like the Knights.
I do too, man. Nolensville, Paul Derrick is in a great area right there because that place is growing leaps and bounds and great facilities. Gallardi's back. Lost Kutras, all-state receiver, but I mean, there's so many people moving into that area. It's just athlete after athlete.
Last year in 4A, you think?
I think so, yes, sir.
Yeah,
I do.
I think so, too. They move up. It's a new program, only 3 years. Is that correct? I think that
4 years of varsity.
This will be the fourth. This will be the fourth year, I think.
Yeah,
I believe that's right.
Great spot though.
Yeah, and
I like them at 7. Possibly could have moved them.
Yeah,
up.
maybe low. Maybe low. I agree with you, Lee. At 6, we got our buddy Dustin Wilson's Springfield Yellow Jackets, and they were a young team, made it to the title game last year. And he wins those close games, man. We talked about that.
Overtimes and thrillers.
He's a heck of a coach. And, we said that in the interview last year, man. If I got a team, I'm pushing toward a championship run, I like Dustin Wilson to coach him, man. He's a good coach.
Yep.
Kaveri Smith back at running back.
Montez Hudson's back, quarterback.
Yeah, that's exactly. So we like the Yellow Jackets. At number 5, another young coach I'm really impressed with. I kind of sing his praises year in and year out, Lee Teat, and that's Marshall County and Thomas Osteen. We got them a little bit ahead of Nolensville. I think they've got more kids back, not necessarily more talent back. They do have Bryson Hammonds, a young quarterback. Had a breakout year as a sophomore. He's in for his junior season. I think he's got a big year for him.
I do too. And something, we hadn't mentioned on here, Mike, is a lot of these kids that were banged up and have been, this is good timing for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're getting healthy.
Getting healthy, that's right.
Their bodies ain't getting beat on. And I think that's going to – the reason I brought that up is Bryson, because he's a baseballer.
Right.
He may come into this season very fresh.
That's right.
Very fresh.
He's a real talented baseball player, is he not?
So he may come into this season real fresh legs, fresh body, so that's going to help them.
Yeah.
Because last year, I think as a sophomore, late in the year, he was a little nicked.
Right. At number 4, Lee, we mentioned that Region 2, Anderson County, I think, is going to be the biggest competition for Grant Reynolds. Year in and year out, the Mavericks are very good. They got Hatmaker back at quarterback. He had over 2,000 yards last year. Russ Lindsey, big offensive lineman, along with and that I think offensive line is where they're going to be good at. Stone Cummins, the preseason All-State. So they're very solid up front. Really like Anderson County, the Mavericks.
Yep, I agree.
Agree with them at 4. And we get what we see over in the East every year. You got Greenville, you got Elizabeth, and you got Anderson County. Those teams are knocking each other out every year. At number 3, we've got the Greenville Green Devils. Is that too low? Is that too low, Lee? Might be too low. I bet BVD's already steaming watching this show.
Yeah, he's probably hot.
He's going to wear our ass out on that live chat.
Well, Greenville, though, I tell you what, it's going to be a toss between – we got them at the 3. Very well could have been at the 2 or the 1.
Right.
But I think it's going to be a toss-up out of the East between, like what we talked about, those 3 teams.
Yeah.
But I know they got really good QB and a stud running back.
Yeah, I think Drew Gregg, who, of course, transferred in from Knoxville Catholic, he'll be leading them behind center. They're eat up with talent. They eat up with talent every year.
Yep.
I mean, they got a really good off-season weight program.
Yep.
And ever since Coach Ballard took that program over, they've elevated.
Yep.
Now Dan Hammond in his second year, 10 wins in his first year there. They're going to be there. They're going to be competing with Elizabethton. They're going to be competing with Anderson County to face, someone out of the West. I'll go ahead and tell you, I fully expect that. And at number 2, we wanted to pull in a West team. And in the West, we like Haywood. I think the Tomcats are good. Chris Smith in his second year there. Haywood always got a lot of physical talent, and I think this year is no exception.
At Brownsville, they're always loaded with talent. I mean, tons and tons of athletes. Chris Smith knows what to do with them coming over from Germantown. Showed last year. Went to overtime in the semifinals, lost to Springfield. Dustin Wilson's overtime king.
Yep. They had a lot of injuries too, Lee, if you'll remember.
Went in banged up, but I like them to get right back.
Yeah, I do too. And that leads us to number 1, Lee, and we absolutely love Coach Witten's Elizabethton Fighting Cyclones. I mean, if they can get by the kryptonite, as you like to say, Greenville again this year, Bryson Rollins is one of the most exciting players I've ever seen personally, man. The kid just lit it up last year, and I think he has another big year this year.
I do too. I think he's good. And the Connor Johnson there at the O-line. Was it Deuce Morton, Parker Hughes? I mean,
Parker Hughes is a stud, man.
Yes,
him and Braden Holly are going to be really good receivers that Bryson Rollins is going to have.
Cole Morgenstern. I mean, they got a lot of talent coming back.
Yeah, they got a lot of talent.
I fully expect it to get down to Elizabeth and Greenville again, some way, shape, or form.
They got a kid, Nate Stevens, a running back. He was a freshman last year, coming in as a sophomore. He's solid. And we're going to talk to Coach Witten. Matter of fact, Lee, let's go ahead and scroll. Yeah, let's scroll this Class 4A top 10 for you guys while we get Coach Witten on the phone. And this is what that 2020 preseason Class 4A top 10 looks like. All right, Lee, we are back. As we just mentioned in our top 10, we like the Elizabethton Cyclones. We like them to repeat. We've got Coach Witten on with us. Coach, how you doing?
Good, sir. Thank you for having me on again, guys.
We appreciate you jumping on with us, Coach. I know it was a huge year for you guys last year, going undefeated, winning that 4A state title. We were really impressed by the number of fans you guys brought to Cookeville with you. It was one of the biggest fan bases we saw up there. What was it like around town when you guys got back to Elizabethton after winning that title game?
Well, it was an unbelievable experience. Just leaving our locker room and heading to the stadium just to see the sea of orange that invaded Cookeville was amazing, and when we took the field for pregame warm-ups and it just sent chills down your spine, and there was no way we're going to lose that game with all those people. I mean, that was probably, 3/4 of our town was at that game that Saturday. But that's what makes the whole state championship so special, because it wasn't just for our school, our community, our football team, but it's for our entire town. We've been waiting a long time to bring one of those gold balls home, and for last season it just worked out for us, and just happy for a lot of people, and you're happy for the kids for sure, but there's a lot of people that helped Cyclone football for many years, for decades, and we're happy for those guys to be a part of that and witness that too.
Well, Coach, we were so impressed with the poise of your sophomore quarterback last year, but Bryce Rollins is entering his junior year with a season under his belt, a championship season under his belt. What do you think, in your opinion, this year he needs to improve on?
Well, I think that, obviously, he's not going to come as a surprise to many people, and people are going to be, out to understand what he can do. And the best thing that Bryson does is he extends plays with his feet, and he did a great job of that last year. And it seemed like that every time that he started to make a play with his feet, he just made the right decision. And people just couldn't get a a jump on him. They couldn't contain him, and you know, when they started worried about him, you know, breaking down the play and getting ready to run, you know, we made a lot of plays, you know, throwing the ball down the field. But you know, I think all quarterbacks, you know, you talk about the leadership intangibles and you know, the it factor and all the things you got to do there. I think, you know, just he did such a great job as a 15-year-old sophomore. He turned 16, you know, like the last couple of weeks of the season, and just how mature he was. But, you know, I think that, you know, people are probably next year going to stack the box and make him have to use his arm and continue to develop that, you know. And I think that we were a football team that didn't have to throw a tremendous amount, you know, with our linemen and our running back, and we threw a lot of easy passes and high percentage football. So I think to answer your question, I think that, you know, all quarterbacks moving forward, which Bryson can do it, you know, just continue to develop his accuracy, continue to work on the deep ball, and you know, and making that an extra part of his game where people have to defend.
Well, Coach, you know, talking about Bryce there, what do you got protecting him up front this year?
Well, believe it or not, that's one of the strengths of our football team starts, and we return every single one of our offensive linemen.
Wow, that's scary.
We've got 3 seniors returning, and we've got 2 juniors. The only one that we leave out is we graduated our H-back tight end, Remington Tyree. So we're pretty solid up front, you know, and that's where it all starts, you know, in the trench game. And our guys, those guys set the tone for our football team on the field, off the field. Cole Morganson at left tackle, Wes Irwin at left guard, Colby Garland at center, and Owen Slagle, the junior, at right guard, and the junior, you know, right tackle, and Connor Johnson. So we're pretty fired up about that. That's why we're so excited about, you know, the progress we made, and you know, and having.
I'm feeling good about my pick now.
Yeah,
that's what we wasn't sure about.
Yeah, the continuity's there for sure. So,
yeah.
Our missing piece really for us offensively is going to be replacing Cade Moffin at the running back position.
Yeah.
You know, we've got bodies.
Nate Stevens.
But, you know, Nate Stevens, but you know, Cade was 6'2" and about 215.
True.
You know, I think he finished the season about 220. So
right.
That's a pretty tough load there. And Cade was also a senior that, you know, people know that he transferred to us from DB, so he had been there, done that, played at a high level, 6A football. So he brought a lot of swagger to our football team for sure.
Well, Coach, I don't know if you was able to hear our top 10 or not, but we also, obviously, we had Greenville and Anderson County in our top 5. Have you heard anything about those 2 programs this year? Any new faces for either of those teams you're aware about?
No, I don't. You know, you can expect both of those teams to be up there. You know, I think that over the last, you know, 3 or 4 seasons, you know, one of those football teams is going to come out of our division. And, you know, the top 3 teams are in the same quadrant, you know, and for us in Greenville, we're in the same district, you know, so the winner of the regular season game avoids Anderson County from a playoff standpoint. So that's a huge deal. And then, you know, next year being 2020 season, Anderson County, if they finish first place in their district, they're going to get to host all the way through the playoffs, where last year we got to. So obviously the road's going to have to go through Anderson County, which is going to be extremely tough. We know that firsthand. You know, the last, you know, 2 to 3 years, you know, they put us out in the second round. Those teams are going to be tough. And, you know, Greenville's going to be solid. You know, that they're going to have to be ready to roll. You know, Mason Gudger's going to be a great back that returns. You know, they got their quarterback returning back, and you know, we know they're going to be really solid. You know, both of those programs do a great job in the off-season program. They got great kids, schemes, and so it's going to be a tough challenge for sure.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you jumping on with us, man. We're rolling through this. That's going to complete our 4A, but I appreciate you taking the time to jump on with us. Lee and I definitely hope we're able to get on with you in the fall and talk some more football with you sometime when the season gets started.
Yes, sir, guys. Tremendous. Thank you so much. Appreciate what you guys do. Appreciate you following us, and appreciate you got us preseason ranked number 1. So hopefully we'll follow through on that. And if not, appreciate what you guys do. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Right,
Coach.
thank you, Coach.
We'll see you,
Appreciate
buddy.
you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, Lee. We Coach Witten, man, he's intense, man. I like that dude. He does everybody we've had on Lee. They're great coaches. I mean, that's the reason why their programs are a big reason why their programs are where they're at. These guys do a great job. But I like them. I didn't know the line was intact. That made me feel better.
Yeah, buddy, that's ooh,
BVD. Look out, BVD.
Man.
They're coming for you, baby.
man. That's pretty big right there.
That's going to be a challenge, man. Greenville, man, I love that game. You remember, what was it, 2 years ago we went to that, Elizabethton and Greenville
Awesome.
when Cade Ballard's senior year.
Yes, sir.
That was one of the most phenomenal football experiences, man. I've never seen a stadium that packed.
Oh, it was great.
They were 4 deep on the fence all the way around. If
Yep.
you ever want to go to a football game, go to Greenville, and I guess that game will be in Greenville this year again, wouldn't it?
Yep.
Man, that's a heck of a
Yeah,
football.
if you're up east, check it out,
We
man.
might have to see what week that lands on,
Yeah.
Lee. We definitely need to check. You got one playing this year, man. Well, we got to figure out what we're gonna do about that too.
I know.
All right, Lee. We got to get into 5A. Are you ready to roll on into 5A?
Yes, sir.
And this is going to be one of those shocker classes, I think, for folks. Lee and I, this is 5A. I think year in and year out, to me, is the toughest class to pick.
If I was a coach, though, I'd want to be in 5A
Me
because
too.
I think it's wide open every year.
Me too. All right.
I think it's wide
You
open.
don't have a Greenville. You don't have a Alcoa. You don't have a Maryville. You don't have a
Yeah.
You don't have a South Pitt. So there's no team in 5A that year in and year out. You can go ahead and pencil them in to one side of the bracket.
Yeah, I mean, there's not Central.
Yeah.
Lately,
right.
But it's wide open, the path there.
Yes,
I think.
I agree.
The path there is wide open.
So speaking of 5A, Lee, the 4 teams we give the honorable mention to, and I'm going to go ahead and preface it like I have every class, and probably more so since 1A is a class as wide open as this one. We've got Page. We lost a whole lot. We've got Ray County. I think Ray County should have been in the top 10. I might have them too low. We've got Halls. We've got Gibbs all as the honorable mention teams in Class 5A. So at number 10, Lee, we have
Gallatin.
We got Gallatin, the Green Wave, and I actually had Lee Hayes. He was telling me today, he and I were talking from Peabody.
Mm-hmm.
Mason Stanley, they got transfers in from Lenore City, the quarterback.
Yes.
That's
2-year starter at Lenore City.
Exactly. That's a huge get for Chad Watson and his bunch over at Gallatin.
I think what's going to hurt him is losing Spencer Briggs.
Right.
Briggs was a great ball player. But Coach Watson knows what he's doing.
Got a good staff behind him.
Got a great staff behind him. And, hey, man, look who he ran up against in the first round.
Right. Summit, the team that went to the finals.
Went to the finals.
Right, exactly.
So, he's got the team, the facilities, the fan support. I think he'll be right in the hunt. I think maybe 10, maybe low.
Might be.
Might be a little
low.
low.
Be right. We again, this is
Right.
a class that's throw them up against the wall and see what sticks.
That's right.
Fulton and Rod Black, we got them at number 9, and the main reason, in being totally honest here, is Rod Black. It's the main reason why they're at number 9.
Right.
One of the best in the business. We love Rod Black. He don't necessarily have any blue chippers back on this team, I don't think. He got MacArthur McCovery at running back. You got Jeffrey Riddle, the quarterback. Is Riddle or Sweat? I know Sweat started the season at quarterback. Did he finish the season?
Well, they started off atrocious.
Yes.
And then started there towards the end. They ended up getting in the playoffs.
Right.
But Coach Black, man, how many times is he ever going to go 3-8?
I can't see it happening again, to be honest with you.
No, so I think they're going to be in the hunt.
Yeah, no doubt.
They're going to make some noise.
So we got South Doyle at number 8, Clark Duncan squad. Lee, a big year for them last year, 9-4, 5-1. Now they did lose their quarterback Brang, and they did lose the talented Elijah Young at running back. So it'll be kind of anxious to see who's going to pull up the slack losing those kids.
Right.
But we like the Cherokees, and we like Clark Duncan. He does a good job over there for South Doyle. At number 7, we got Powell. This is another team that lost a ton of talent. They got Jordan Potts at quarterback coming in. I think he's supposed to. I'm hearing good things about him. He's very talented. I think he's a pocket passer, good athlete. They got Redmond at wide receiver. They're young, Lee. Powell's is a sophomore. Redmond's a sophomore. And then, of course, they got Fernando Francis at running back. He's a senior. But I like Powell. They're going to be good. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Matt Lowe coaches them up, man.
He does.
He's very good at Powell. His second stint there at Powell. He's always got a good football team. You gotta put them in the mention, no doubt. Henry County, in the same situation here, James Counts does an excellent job following his dad's footsteps there at Henry County League. The Patriots, always a solid program. How do you like them?
I like Ryan Dameron.
The sophomore, started as a freshman. He's legit, isn't he?
He's legit. I like him.
Yeah, I think Henry County's going to make some noise. They were knocked out in the 3rd round by Dyer County last year. I like them to get past the 3rd round this year.
Me too.
Oak Ridge is Joe Gaddis. Joe Pa, he's got a good ball team again this year. So what do you think about the Wildcats?
Well, Mitchell Gibbons coming back, senior quarterback, senior leadership in running back, quarterback, wide receiver. So be a good time for Joe Gaddis to get it, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of chatter on Coach T. They're kind of like the sleeper, I guess you would say, for lack of a better term. A lot of people like Oak Ridge. I think Oak Ridge is going to be tough this year. Outside shot to make it to Cookeville this year, I do believe. Knox Central, of course, Coach Rosser's out. Nick Craney comes in. He's a defensive coordinator the last 4 years. So he's been on the staff, knows the kids.
Young,
very young. Was he 27 years old, I think? Was that a shock that they went that young with a team with that much tradition? Is that a little bit of a shock to you?
No. Coach Rosser wasn't that old.
No, he looked young, didn't he?
Yeah, he wasn't that old. But 27, no, I'm not surprised because he's been in the D.C. there for the last 4 years. And he's learned from Coach Rosser, who –
and his defense held Summit to 7 points in the title game.
Correct, and he has got some talent coming back, three or four All-Staters coming back. Man, they could very well be.
Have I got them too low, Lee, at 4?
They could very well be right back.
Yeah. Well, I got Beach at number 3. I really like Crabtree.
Yes,
Lee,
sir.
I had them at 1 for a while, and somebody named Lee Teat kind of got in my ear a little bit, and he got me to move them down a little, but I'm all over Beach, man. I think they're going to be really good.
They're going to be right there.
Yeah. Tayshawn Jefferson's back, over 1,500 yards the last couple of seasons. Their quarterback's back. Cuttrell, isn't it?
Yeah, Xavier Jones.
Josh Jordan. Who are they running 2 QBs? I've got 2 QBs in their players.
Man, they run.
I can't remember who.
It don't matter. They run the ball.
Yeah, they run the ball. They don't throw the ball. You're exactly right.
I mean, look at all them running backs they got. They just pound.
Yeah, almost every player they got on huddle with a lot of attention is listed as a running back. But yeah, I think Beach is going to be really good this year. I like them in Region 5, and I think they're going to make a run all the way to quarterfinals. And then the quarterfinals is going to get interesting this year.
Correct.
Knoxville West is the team we've got. Lee Teat out of the East. We like Lamar Brown's program, the Rebels. They did lose Tracy Malone. He's at Cleveland with Marty Wheeler now. So they lost a really good coach there, but got a lot of talent. Got John Harrison back at quarterback.
Correct.
What's your thoughts on West?
I like them at the 2.
I think they've got running backs and wide receivers back.
I think your 1 through 4, Mike, I think is the semifinal matchups maybe, or quarterfinals for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
I think you're probably right.
Which leads us to number 1, Lee, and this may be a shock to a few people, but not to us here in Middle Tennessee because we like Brian Coleman's Summit team. They were in the title game last year, and they've got the key ingredients back. They got Destin Wade and Keaton Wade back, the 2 twin brothers. One the quarterback, one the running back. Both of them are All-State. I like them, and I think you said they got a new coordinator, correct?
I think so. New offensive coordinator. So
Coach Palmer from Shelbyville is, I think you said, is.
That's what I'm hearing is Coach Palmer from Summit.
We'll ask Coach Coleman about that and confirm that.
Yeah, but I think
that'll be interesting.
I think Coach Palmer is going over to Summit to be the OC, and or that's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, we'll confirm that. We'll get Coach Coleman on the line and ask him about that.
But
we like Summit.
Yeah,
you like Summit?
I like it.
Hey, you talked me into that. I had them in the top 3. I didn't have them at 1, but
they're going to be close.
It's 5-8. You never know. So, all right, Lee. Well, let's put this top 10 up on the screen for everybody to see. We'll cut to that screen, and then we'll get Coach Coleman on the line with us. This is the Friday main event. All right, Lee Teat, we are back after revealing our top 10, and we've got the number 1 guy, the guy that was in Cookeville last year with us, Coach Coleman. Coach, how you doing, buddy?
What's up, man?
How are you, buddy?
Well, Coach, I got to ask, man, did it surprise you any that we had the Spartans number 1 here in the preseason?
Well, yeah, it's a little different for us, but we sure do appreciate it, though.
Well, Coach, I mentioned it when we were in Cookeville last year, but, your kids, and should be expected. They seem to be a little awestruck to me. You looked on your sidelines, and those kids, they hadn't been on a stage this big. I mean, how many football teams have? Then you look over at the Central kids, and they're like, this is like another day on the field to them.
Yeah.
How valuable do you think that experience that you guys got from going there last year, how much is that going to help you this year leading into 2020?
Oh, I think it's big for us. I think that's invaluable. I mean, like you said, they had been there, done that. They were relaxed, and I think it took us a little while, quarter and a half maybe, to get relaxed into the game, if that makes sense. And now they were a good football team. North Central was a great football team. No, not taking away from that, but we were a little starstruck a little bit. No matter how we preached, no matter what you show them on film, or no matter what we did, it's just not the same until those kids experience it. And it took us a little while to get going, and by that time we were, a little bit too far behind.
All right.
Well, Coach, obviously the Wade brothers had a lot to do with our pick. Unbelievable that those kids are only going to be juniors this coming year.
Yeah.
How many colleges are after them?
Oh, you name it.
Crazy, ain't it?
Keaton got an offer this past week from Oklahoma, so that was pretty big. They both got an offer from UT. They both got an offers from LSU, South Carolina, Ole Miss. They both got offers from Penn State, Arizona State. So,
That's crazy, man. I'm not surprised. They're once in a lifetime type athletes. They're amazing.
Man, they're great kids too. It's easy as a coach to promote kids like that, because a coach will call and like, just please meet them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Please talk to them. Please, and please put on the film. Please watch them on film. Please talk to them. Great family, great kids. So real easy as a coach for me, for us, for my staff to promote kids like that, or young men like that.
Well, Coach, we talked to some of the previous coaches tonight about this Corona stuff. What have you guys been able to do as a staff to keep your kids motivated this spring? What do you guys? How are you staying in contact with them?
Well, you mean not much contact?
Well, yeah,
but,
I guess social.
We're sending out workouts on Twitter and Facebook.
Okay.
We're Coach Melton, our strength coach, is still workouts of that body weight stuff, and go out and run, and trying to motivate them, to get off the couch and do stuff. And I think they are. You know what I mean? I don't think they're sitting on the couch eating potato chips and drinking Sun Drops. I don't think. I hope not. Because
you'll know pretty quick when you get them back, won't you?
We will. And I think they know too. I've heard a few comments from parents. They know we're going to be full bore when we get back, and I think that scares them a little bit to be out of shape and head into that.
Right.
Well, Coach, I got a question for you. I heard you got somebody. Am I hearing correctly that you got somebody from Shelbyville joining your staff?
I can neither confirm or deny that statement.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, crap.
Oh, crap. You're not.
Well,
there goes the pick.
No. That didn't have anything
That
to
didn't
do
have
with the
anything
pick.
to do with our pick.
No. That kind of changed the flow of the questioning here.
Yeah.
Let me go indirectly to this next question. Speaking of Shelbyville, Josh Puckett, he's taking over the program there, and of course he won the 1A state title. I think he was up there the same day you guys were last year.
Yes, sir.
With Lake County. You've also got a couple more new head coaches. Franklin County got Justin Cunningham.
Yes.
Lincoln County got Kevin Rose. Are you familiar with those guys? Have you met either one of them, or have you had a chance to talk to them?
I have not met any of them. I mean, no, sir, I have not. Researched. Our staff's pretty good. We've researched Lake County. We watched some film with them, and a little bit of was it Bob Jones, I believe, from Lincoln County. So we've done our research. We've talked to a few coaches. So I mean, this makes our region just as strong. I mean, these are great coaches that are being hired in.
Coach, I'm gonna keep plugging away at you. Do you see an offensive scheme change coming this year?
Well, quite possibly. Now we did spread out a little bit last year. You know what I mean? We did. For our skill set, we changed the offense a little bit. Went from wing T to we spread it out a little bit more.
That's right.
Because you had Oldemegwa lining up outside, didn't you?
That's right.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So, we might throw the ball around a little bit more this year, quite possibly. But, guys, as well as I do, when it gets to those late games, if you remember the Shelbyville game,
yes,
Mike, how sloppy it was. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Got to be able to run it.
And cold. You're going to have to be able to run the ball. So, yes, we're going to try and to help Destin out. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Destin,
sir. Absolutely.
To be the next level quarterback, he's going to have to be able to read some defenses and stuff like that. So as a coaching staff, yes, we're going to help him out to bring him to the next level. And if we get behind, I think another thing, getting behind in that Knox Central game, I don't think our throwing game, our quick game was as strong as we wanted it to be. You know what I mean? So
yes,
we're going to have to get better at that if we do get behind in the game and have to throw the ball to catch back up.
Well, Coach, Region 6, they're typically pretty tough, but Region 5 did very well last year. I know head-to-head, it wound up being you guys in Shelbyville in the quarterfinals. Do you expect to see a tougher version of Region 6 this year, or what's your thoughts on that matchup?
I mean, with Beach, y'all talked about Beach. Coach Crabtree does an excellent job with them. They're a hard-nosed football team, going to run the football, and Gallatin's getting a whole lot better. I don't think they're going to be down much. I do. They lost Briggs. I know that, but they're going to be good too. And I mean, Hillsboro. I mean, they're not going to stay down long. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
They're not going to stay down long. So it's a tough region matchup with us. And we talked about our region. Shelbyville's going to be good. They lost a little bit, but quarterback's back. Few linemen are back. Page, Coach Rathbone always has them ready to go.
Watch out for Columbia.
Watch out, Coach Hope. They got better. That running back's back.
Yep.
A few linemen are back. And what was Beach? Was it 6-3, 9-6, something like that?
That's right.
So
you got a tough path, man.
I know it. I will. How well I know.
You're gonna have a hell of a job making me and Lee look smart this year.
Man, that's hard enough.
Don't put that on
me. That's real hard, ain't it?
Yeah. Don't put that on him, man. That's impossible.
Yeah, we won't put that on you. That's a challenge you ain't never had to meet right there. Well, brother, it's been good catching up with you, man. Hopefully this Corona stuff, it settles down here pretty soon. We can get back to normal life, but always good to talk to you, man.
Yes.
You too, guys. I appreciate you guys. It was good to have a break and talk some high school football. I appreciate you.
That's
yes,
right.
sir, Coach. Well, good luck to you, partner. We'll be hollering at you this fall.
Yes, sir.
Man.
All right, see you, man. All right, Lee. Love Coach Coleman. If I ever get in the barroom fight, I'm going to have him with me. That dude, he's
solid dude.
He's ripped, ain't he?
Well, he's a solid
He
guy,
is.
man.
He's a good dude, man. But, yeah, if you seen him on the street, you'd be like, ooh, He's pretty intimidating.
Yeah, that, and he takes care of that field, man.
Yeah, he does, man. That's one of the best fields we see. And I mean, you go to Summit and you think that's turf.
Yeah, when you first
looks
roll
like
up,
turf,
you're
doesn't
like,
it?
man, that's beautiful turf field, and then you get out there, no, that's grass.
Yeah, it's crazy. He does a great job. A good dude, man.
Yep.
I really like Coach Coleman.
I think they can get it done.
I think they can, man.
They can stay healthy.
You hit the nail on the head, though, man. That Region 5 is going to be tough. I think it'll be tougher this year, and then Region 6, I think it's going to be even better.
Yep.
So it's going to be a very tough path. I think Henry County is going to be a tough.
Wide open.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to get back there this year. It'll be hard to get back there, but he's got as good or better shot than anybody else.
That's right.
All right, Lee, let's roll into 6A, man. Let's bring this thing to a head. And 6A, kind of the same situation we've had with the other classes, Lee. We've got what we call our honorable mention. And we're going to have all these on our website tomorrow, folks. So if you don't, when we show it at the end of this segment, don't freak out if you didn't get a chance to get it. You didn't get to take a picture. Obviously, you can rewind it. You can pause it, whatever. But we'll have it up on FridayMainEvent.com tomorrow, all these picks. And they're subject to change once Lee and I watch some live football. We may get out there and say, what the heck, some of it is not that good. We may move them down. So I doubt it.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
That's extreme.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
They're pretty darn good. All right, Lee, our honorable mentions in 6A, we got Bradley Central, we got Stewart's Creek, we got Independence, we got Farragut. 4 very good teams. 4 teams may wind up in the top 10.
One mention of Stewart's Creek High School.
Yes.
Has the best kicker probably in the state of Tennessee as a junior.
Is that right?
He will break the record this year. He'll kick a 63-yarder in high school, guarantee it.
You think so?
Yes, sir. He kicked a 64-yarder at Coles Camp.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I'm going to put you on the spot. You don't know his name, do you?
Yes, sir. Upton Belafont.
Okay,
He'll break
good.
the record this year.
All right, good.
Or he's going to get the opportunity.
Hey, my
to do
son was a kicker in high school, so I'm all about the
He'll
kickers.
get the opportunity to do it.
That's good. That's awesome, man. Yeah, I think they're going to be a pretty solid team this year. They're going to be competitive. I think they're in Region 5. It's kind of wide open.
Yeah.
They got a shot at it. Stewart, getting in our top 10, Lee Teat, Mount Juliet. I talked to Coach Perry earlier this week. We weren't really sure what to expect. And, of course, Bryce Messinger was dismissed midway through the season.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Perry says that junior Stephen Swooner and sophomore Griffin Thornberry looking very good, competing for that quarterback spot. He's got 30 seniors on this team coming in, Lee. So, Region 4 better watch out. He's serving notice. I think the Golden Bears are going to be the team to beat in Region 4 this year.
I think you're absolutely right.
So I told Coach Perry we'd try to get up there and check out another game this year.
That's another good venue.
That's a great venue, man. I had a great time up there. Yep. We love Coach Perry. Him and his dad Roger, awesome. You can't meet 2 better people. Always enjoy hooking up with those guys and talking football. At number 9, Lee, we got Dobbins Bennett, one of the few teams we've got over in the eastern part of the state in our top 10 in 6A. Joey Christian did a great job last year, 10-3, 5-1 in region play. They did get knocked out by Maryville in the 3rd round. Like them at number 9.
Yes, sir.
Lee, the next 2 picks are region rivals, and we flipped them back and forth, did we not?
Back and forth on this a little bit.
And we wound up with Blackman at number 8. Coach Hartsfield, he's done a great job there. 18-7 in 2 years, 8-5 last year. Lost Oakland in the 3rd round. Drew Bean back at quarterback.
Correct.
They got a lot of talent back, man.
They do.
What do you think about Blackman?
They're going to be the 2 or the 3 spot in Region 3-6. That's why we got Blackman and Riverdale right here side by side.
Riverdale at number 7, Will Kreisky's squad. They were again another good team. Narrowly knocked out by Mount Juliet in the 1st round.
Yes.
A lot of Kelly Holcomb's son will be running the show this year.
Yeah, that's kind of the reason I may have picked them a little bit. Leaned. I don't want to say picked them, but I leaned towards Riverdale because I think Coach Holcomb, he's been working with his kids since he was born.
You put some size on that kid, buddy, and he's going to have everybody looking at him.
He's going to have a full understanding of the offense.
Yep.
He's going to be highly capable of running it, and Riverdale has no shortage of athletes around them.
Exactly.
Now, Javon Nelson's a real deal.
Yes.
I mean, he is the real deal.
Solid defensive end.
So.
Like Riverdale at 7. At number 6, we got our buddy Eddie Woods, Keene Ridge, over in Region 5. Like them a lot. I like Quentin Barnes, maybe the best receiver in the state. At least he's among the best. Xavier Clemens, a quarterback, 1,900 yards, 27 TDs in 8 games.
8 games.
Last year, he's back, so a lot of talent for this Keene Ridge squad.
Yes.
And, of course, they're, 2 years removed from the title game?
That's right.
So I expect big things out of them. Ravenwood, Matt Daniels' squad in the title game last year. Lee, we got them at number 5. Of course, they lost some really great players, but they got that darn tight end back, man. Talk about him.
Well, they've got Brennan Stool, Damon Owens. Damon Owens has got probably no telling how many offers. Miles Pollard. I mean, listen, Coach Daniels got tons of SEC talent on that field.
Yep, absolutely.
Still has it.
Still has it.
I think he's got to get a quarterback.
Right. Whitehaven, Lee Teat, we've got at number 4. Rodney Salisbury squad over there at Memphis, always a contender to win a state title.
Yes, sir.
Year in and year out. Probably the most talented squad year in and year out.
Top to bottom.
Yeah, like the Tigers. What's your thoughts on the Tigers?
Same thing. They're going to be right there in the mix towards the end. Always are.
I think they're a semifinal team, no doubt this year. They had Houston to contend with last year. Houston lost a lot.
Oh yeah.
I think Whitehaven probably got a clear path into the semifinals this year.
Yes, sir.
One team that I'm really in love with, Lee, and I think I possibly have them low here at number 3, and that's Ron Crawford's Brentwood Bruins. Man, you talk about a team eat up with talent. Walker Merrill is one of the best players in the state.
I think he just committed to UT.
Did he?
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't heard that.
I think so.
He is phenomenal. Granzow at quarterback is back.
Been there, a 3-year starter, I think.
3-year starter, you are correct. Man, that team is going to be really tough to deal with.
And they're physical.
Very physical.
They're going to be physical.
I think I like them to win Region 6 again this year. They were 5-0 last year. They've won the region the last 2 years. They beat Ravenwood and then fell in the
playoffs.
In the playoffs to them. At number 2, Lee, again, this is another team we may have low. How can you be low if you're at number 2? But Kevin Creasy's Patriots, man, they're going to be good again. I think they got a transfer he's pretty excited about.
Oh, yeah, they got Jordan James. We call him Momo coming in over there at Oakland, and he is an absolute powerhouse tailback to go along with Victor Stevenson and Kobe Manning and all these other kids that Coach Creasy has over there. That's just another weapon in their armor.
Yeah.
And they're going to just do what they do. I mean, there's no doubt Oakland could be sitting in the championship game. There's no doubt about it. Could very well be there.
So at number 1, Lee, I guess no guesses here. Maryville, we got the Rebels. We got them at number 1, and not many people I think will have them at number 1 this year, Lee, just based on the amount of talent they lost from last year. Most people, I mean, they're very young. You look at their top 15 kids coming back, and it's sophomores and juniors. You don't see seniors in there. So maybe we have them high, but this is another program, like we said, we're putting a lot of clout on what the coaching staff and the head coach can do, and I think by postseason the Rebels will be right there contending again.
Well, I don't want to jinx him, but I think Coach Hunt was on some of those 70-something win streak, 60-something win streak teams that Quarles coached without a loss.
Yep.
And there were some times that those teams coming into the season kind of remind you of this team. They didn't have a standout going in, but by the end of the year you knew something. But what's kind of hung out, we're going to talk to Coach Hunt hopefully, but what hung out with me last year from this team is I think Coach Hunt learned something defensively. That was something different that I've never seen from Maryville. The way they played defense last year
more
was
athletic,
unbelievable, man. So I think they're on to something. So
and Coach Creasy told us that. Remember when we were up in Cookeville? He said this is not a typical defense you see from Maryville. They're much more athletic.
Oh, sorry. Lights just went out in Georgia.
Just went out in Georgia. That's all right. We'll pick that light up as we talk to Coach Hunt. We'll get him on the line now, Lee. We'll be back after this. Here's the 6A Top 10 by Friday main event.
Sorry about that.
All right, Lee Teat.
What a
Coach,
way to
Coach
preference.
Hunt's got us laughing here. Coach Hunt, what did you just say now?
I didn't know if the Associated Press or Coach's poll had changed since we had texted a couple days ago. Everyone might have moved down.
They might have moved down. Yeah,
You told me we were number one, so I was.
Well, I mean, we kind of said that, Coach. Some other media outlets may not have you guys number one just because you lost so much talent. But we talked to you last year, and one thing that really stuck in my head was you told Lee and I how good this upcoming sophomore and junior class is, and we know with the staff you got and you yourself, we know you're going to have them coached up toward the end of the year.
Well, we certainly hope so. I do think we've got some good players coming back. I mean, graduating 17 seniors, and not just 17 seniors. I mean, we had 30 seniors in this class, and just a really, really good class from depth and star power. You had your stars, but you also had a lot of kids that were just awesome football players. Mm-hmm. They may not play in college, but they were great high school football players and kids who loved it. So we'll miss a lot of those kids, but I think you guys said it a minute ago. We're going to be really young and inexperienced, and so there might be some bumps along the road. But like you said, we hope that by playoff time we've got them ready to go, and we've improved a lot, hopefully, and we'll play in some big games in the regular season, and so that'll give our kids a chance to get under the lights and have those jitters in those big games, and hopefully prepare us for a playoff run.
Well, Coach, like you said, obvious questions here is, who takes the place of a kid like T. Hodge, A.J. Davis, Cade Chambers. But the one that I had a question about was who's going to be Cade's replacement? Do you think Carson Jones is the front runner right now, or is it open?
Yeah, well, it's always everything's open till you get there, but Carson's certainly got the upper hand.
Right.
He played in some big moments last year.
Right.
Cade had some trouble with his non-throwing shoulder, coming in and out. And,
that's right.
And he would go out of the game, and Carson would come in. Carson had a phenomenal year, and he got to play with the starters some. And we did that on purpose a little bit too. We want to get him in there and just kind of feel what that moment's like. And he did a great job. And the thing about it is, guys, every year every time you have a different quarterback, you're going to try to do things that he's good at. And so, a lot of that's up to us coaches figuring out what they're good at. And so, we're still learning that with Carson. He's not going to be Cade Chambers, because Cade might have been good at something that he's not, and vice versa. So, it's something that you always learn, and that's one of the things I love about coaching high school football is every kid's different, and you have to steer your style towards the guys you got, instead of trying to, make that square peg go through that circle hole, So
right.
We'll find out who, what we're good at, hopefully, and steer towards those kids and give our kids the best chance to be successful. But I'm excited about some of the young kids we got, and certainly Carson is one of those.
Well, Coach, DJ Burge, that's the name you heard a lot last year. We expect DJ to take more of a leadership role, along with, of course, Zach Braden on that defense side of the ball. Are those two kids you're expecting to kind of fill that leadership role that you lost with so many seniors leaving?
Yeah, no question. Those two, DJ and I think Zach, the only two sophomores we had that started, and so certainly they'll play a big role this year on defense for us. And DJ might be able to play a little bit both ways, and might ask him to do some of that. We'll see, kind of when we get into it. And he's definitely a special player, and Zach even played on offense some too when we'd go heavy, and stick some of our defensive guys out there and try to let them create a hole for T last year. So anyway, yeah, there's definitely those guys. I think one of our better players on defense we're getting back is Lou Birchfield, who's going to be a senior. And he had a phenomenal year, was all region last year. And you know, there's a lot of guys. The list goes on. I could name some names that people just don't know yet, that I think they will know. You know, 8 months from now. And so I'm excited about those kids. And the thing about our kids is they're going to work hard. You know, will we be 15-0 next year? Who knows? You know, obviously it's going to be really challenging. But our kids will believe they can. You know, and they're gonna work hard and grind it out and you know, and just give it a shot. See what happens. That's what makes this fun. Is you know, taking a group like this and not having any answers, you know, in May or June or July, and then you get to go see what you're made of, and starting in August and all the way hopefully through November. And so we'll give it our best shot and see what happens.
Well, Coach, you know, I don't know if you had an opportunity to hear the whole top 10 we put out or not, but it's pretty Middle Tennessee heavy. I think Dobbins Bennett was at 9. And that's the only other team out of the East. Any other teams over there we're selling short, you think, in the East?
Well, there's a lot of teams that I don't get to watch play,
right.
You know. But I do think that, you know, just from speaking from our region, I know Bradley Central returns a whole lot. And Coach Floyd, I think, does a phenomenal job. I think getting his kids prepared and I'm good friends with him and have some friends on that staff, and I think they do a great job. And they're going to they get their quarterback back, who's gotten some SEC offers as an athlete, and he's special. I'm telling you guys, he is special. So I don't think I would not be surprised if you know, they're one of the better teams in the East in 6A. But you're right, guys. 6A football, I'm telling you, I've said it for a couple of years now, but it's gotten really, really good in a hurry. And there's so many good teams, not just in Middle. Certainly there's a lot of them in Middle, but, you know, on the east side and on the west side as well. Right. So, you know, it's gotten really competitive, and it's a lot of fun. That's the way it should be. You know, I think when you get to the quarterfinals, round 2 quarterfinals, man, there's some really, really good teams playing each other early in the playoffs.
Well, you talked about your region. Let me get back on that real quick now. Bradley and McMinn were closest competitors last year, but I got a good buddy that moved over there to East Tennessee last year. And, of course, I'm talking about my good friend Marty Wheeler took over that Cleveland program. I think he's brought Tracy Malone in to help him over there. Are you hearing anything about those guys? What are you expecting out of Cleveland this year?
Well, I talked to Coach Wheeler quite a bit, and
he's a clown, isn't he?
He's awesome. I'm a fan of his as well, and I don't think there's any question that he's got Cleveland on the right track. I think we learned that when we turned on the film, the Cleveland Bradley film last year. Mm-hmm. You know, and I know they didn't win that game.
Should have won it. Yeah.
They were. Yeah, I was going to say they were up the whole game, and we played Cleveland early in the year, and you know, Coach Wheeler had kind of just gotten there.
Right.
And so he really didn't have time to get his kid. I mean, they were just starting, understanding what he's wanting to get accomplished, right. And I think towards the middle end of the year, you know, they kind of had it going. They were playing so much better. They get well, I guess he's probably their best player. Their running back was a sophomore last year. He was a phenomenal football player. And so he'll be back, obviously. You know, he's going to do a good job of getting his kids to buy in. And I think he did that at Covington every year.
Right.
It was obvious, you know, that those kids love playing for him. So I don't think there's any question that he's got it going the right direction. Coach Malone's going to bring a lot of great ideas on the offensive side. And so it's going to be interesting, you know, and you mentioned McMinn County. That's another one that returns a whole lot on offense. They return their running back, the Hunt kid, and you know, they're going to be good too. So it'll be interesting. It'll be fun.
Well, Coach, we're going to have to conclude the show, man, but I'm really glad that we got a chance to talk to you. You guys, you know, we can't say enough good things about what you guys do over at Maryville, and it's a program we had the utmost respect for. And Lee and I, we're looking, I think it's 9/11, I want to say. I think we promised Vic Grider, we may head over there for the Marion County game. But I believe that's the Alcoa game this year, is it not?
Yeah, sounds right.
That's on my bucket list right there. We may have to come up there and watch that game with you guys.
Come on, it's always a good one. Alcoa, they'll be as good as they've ever been, and it'll be a lot of fun. Maryville Alcoa's second to none.
Yeah, that's definitely a game Lee and I we definitely want to see.
Yes,
so
sir.
maybe we'll get up there and see you for that one.
All right, guys, that would be awesome. I'd love to hang out with you.
Well, Coach, we appreciate it, brother, and as always, appreciate you taking the time to join us, and we'll definitely be in contact with you this fall.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for all you do for high school football. It's awesome.
All right,
Thank you,
Coach.
Coach.
Stay safe up there, man.
You too. See ya.
See you, buddy. All right, Mr. Lee Teat. I did notice after we got through with Coach Coleman, we forgot to go full screen like this, so everybody got to see that beautiful Coach Coleman for a whole segment there when we were doing our 6A top 10.
That'd
So
be all right.
he's a good-looking fella,
Yeah,
so I don't guess
he's getting airtime, man.
Yeah, he's getting a little extra airtime, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But we appreciate you guys.
You think we surprised everybody with that pick? I bet we did.
I don't. The die-hard high school fans, no, because they know, look over the last 20 years, I'd say more often than not, you're going to have Maryville at number one, but I think Oakland's going to have something to say about it. And Lee, if you'll remember the home team between that Maryville-Oakland rivalry over the
playoffs.
Yeah, and well, even when they had the home and home with the regular season,
Yeah.
the home team seems to have a huge advantage. And of course, they'll have to come over here to if Oakland's in it, they'll have to come over here to Middle Tennessee. So who knows? But I'm sold on that Maryville staff. It doesn't get any better. It doesn't get any better than those guys. So we appreciate you guys checking us out, Lee. Did you enjoy it, my man?
Man, I've been needing it.
I've been needing it too. I think
I don't have to go back home and watch marbles.
Yeah, we may be just a little ahead of that
on YouTube.
No, that was on Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have to go home and watch marble racing.
Yeah,
these guys was throwing marbles around the toilet bowl like it was NASCAR, and I was watching it and getting entertainment.
That was your entertainment, huh? You
Yeah.
are desperate.
Yeah, they took like a handful of different colored ones and went in there, and it just going around there. That's
You're
what I was
just trying
watching.
to get me to go in there and do that to my toilet, aren't you?
Hey, we gotta have some entertainment, brother.
It is.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, I'm glad to be talking high school football,
Yeah,
Lee.
man.
And you guys, please continue to exercise the. I think we're on the downhill side of this.
Yeah, use some caution. Be safe.
Yeah, use some caution. Be smart. I mean, I'm not over here smooching on Lee or anything. We
got the Lysol.
We
right
got the
here.
Lysol can right here. I don't want to tell people to not take it serious, but I don't know. I better shut up before I get myself in trouble.
Well, the main thing too is, since this is a football show, when it does crank back up, make sure you get out and support these kids.
Yes,
they've been
absolutely.
cooped up, locked up, can't do what they need to do. Get out there, support them, get them to where they need to be, get them to practice on time. Those kind of things help your program out.
Yeah, no doubt, Lee. I think I said it. I may have said it in the video I did last night, but we would like for you guys, if you got a particular big game this year, let us know, man. We plan to try. Lee and I still got to figure out exactly how we're going to handle all this. Lee's the youngest kid, hits the high school ranks this year, so we may have to move the show to Thursday. I don't know exactly.
We'll see. I don't know that it'll be Friday night yet. It may be a freshman type deal. We'll see.
We'll figure out. We'll figure something out. We're not going to kill the show, but games of interest. Let us know. Hit us up on Twitter, Tennessee Sports. Hit us up on Twitter. Hit us up on. Put it in the comment section here. Go to Friday Main Event. There's contact information at FridayMainEvent.com for Lee and I both. You can email us. But by all means, let us know. We haven't put our schedule together for this fall, and I think we're going to have a football season, don't you? Surely to God, this stuff will be.
We can't let this cripple us.
No, I agree. So
I'll leave it at that.
I think.
Be smart, but we can't let it cripple us.
Yeah, I can't imagine this extending into July and August. I know.
Well, they say the heat, it don't like it.
Yeah, that's good. Bring on the heat then.
Yeah, that's right.
But this has been a Friday main event production. We always appreciate Jim Thompson. Oh, and Marcia Howard with Elaborate Images.
Yes.
Lee Teat has got Friday main event. She's setting us up a web store. So I get all you freeloaders and all you bums wanting these free hats I'm paying $15 a piece for. Now you get online and buy them.
See how lucky you are,
If you
Mark.
really love us, then show it by buying your own crap.
No, man, come on.
No, we got a few people we definitely got to give hats to that help us out. We appreciate you guys. Some guys at South Pitt, Tommy Jordan and his bunch, and then of course Lee Hayes over at Peabody. We got a lot of guys that promote.
Yeah, I gave a couple away past month.
Yeah, did you? Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. So yeah, we're gonna get our people hats.
But if you want spares or extras or gear,
yep,
we'll
put it on the website.
Yeah.
She's gonna set up a web store for Friday main event merchandise. We hope to get this thing more popular.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, you got a good-looking guy like Lee over here.
These hats are the bomb, though.
Yeah,
they are good, man.
They're a good hat, good quality hats,
Yep.
good stuff. And again, Jim Thompson, Coach T.
Yes.
Appreciate Coach T. He put us a link up on the homepage for this show, and he's going to continue to do that this year. Appreciate everything he does for us. So, Lee, I guess we'll sign it off, man. We'll come back toward the end of July. We'll do a region preview.
Rundown.
Yep, we'll do a region rundown, all 6 classifications, every region. We'll pick every region, pick the teams in every region, and tell you who we think will be in the playoffs. And we're going to do that in July. So
maybe we can get some info, before then. Hopefully, like you said, maybe they'll let June get them kicked off in June, and we can get with some of these coaches and get a little bit more player-wise.
And then hopefully Donovan will start putting his stuff out.
It's been odd, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. And it slowed everything down. But the more information we get, the more informed we can be when we do these shows, and we'll pass it on.
Yeah.
But it's pretty obvious. We enjoy doing this. Not making a dime. Don't care if we don't make a dime. We enjoy doing it. We're glad you guys enjoy it, and we appreciate you tuning in and watching the show. All right, Lee, we've rambled for over 2 hours. I think these people are probably tired of looking at us. Let's roll. Friday main event, Mike Molder and Lee Teat. We'll see you guys in July. Have a